Hello, hello, hello. Boys, we've done it. Episode 6 of the Susu podcast. We are a Futera fan show, and I am your host, Plants. With me, I have two esteemed co-hosts, the coach, George, and our historian, our mod, our big brain, our community man of the people. I don't know. There's so many hats that Blue can hold. Blue, good to see you as well. But before, boys, we see how your week has been. The thoughts, prayers, all of the good feelings come out from all of us, all of the holders on behalf of the tragedy that happened in Thailand, the surrounding areas. You know, we really feel for Southeast Asia as they're continuing to deal with the after effects. So everything we're talking about here, right, pales in comparison of real life, but we hope that some Futera United football brought some smiles to the faces, although it was a 2-2 draw. So again, thoughts, prayers with everyone with the entire region. But we're going to turn the page here and try and bring some joy and have some fun on this podcast today. George, coach, how are we doing today? I believe I saw that you had a tough weekend with your teams. Is that true? How are you doing?
Yeah, so football wasn't the greatest this weekend. Um, had my girls' team had our so-called derby. Um, Lost that 2-1, which was a bit sad in the morning, and then drove for my men's game. And then we just didn't perform either for the men's team, and lost that as well. And then obviously got the news that Viterra drew 2-2, which wasn't the greatest. But the men's team won last night and Ipswich won tonight, so it's picking up again. So it was a frustrating weekend for football. Um, but hopefully back on track now.
That's what I hear. I hear a little momentum. I love that. I love that. Blue, I see you repping the new threads. How's it? How's the fit? How are you doing over there?
Loving it, mate. Yeah, came earlier this week. Saw a few other people's came as well. But yeah, loving the colour, mate. Although checking the YouTube, I'm not too happy with my pixel rate right now. But we'll get there, we'll get there.
You do
So I
have
don't think it's been shown to its full.
you
But
have a wicked
yeah, no,
shadow,
I'm all good, mate.
but
I'm all good, I'm all good.
we're working on the little things each week. Thanks for everyone for tuning in. Again, we'll be in the chat. We love to get all the feedback. Thank you, Lawrence, for the question last week and all of the feedback in the chat. We really appreciate that. All right, but without further ado, let's get to today's agenda. Like always, we're going to go through the quick hitters. This is some club news that you'll get perspective from each one of us on stage here. Then we'll go in and jump into the highlights. It was really nice of our opponent to go ahead and put together this week's highlight tape. So we got 4 minutes to talk through. Sorry, 5 minutes to talk through with the guys. We'll be pausing at different segments to get breakdown what we're doing, who's doing what, little tactical action. I'm sure we'll be talking some formation at some point, George, huh? And I'm loving the push that you're making there to keep the club on their toes when it comes to always thinking tactically. From there, we'll pivot, we'll review, we'll look at what's the table look like overall. Let's see what the competitors did around the grounds. I love that phrase, by the way, around the grounds. We don't use that in States. Fantastic word. And then from there, segments, as always, Coach's Corner, Blue Balls, that's a new one for us this week. And then we will make our predictions. But let's not forget our sponsor, the Kicks app. Really appreciate them for sponsors, and we'll jump in a little bit later on with them, what the Kicks app is all about. But boys, without further ado, let's jump into today's quick hitters. I'm going to go first. I got a couple as I was watching the game that I want to throw out there. Again, super random, but I think this is kind of the things that come to our head. First of all, our jerseys looked fantastic on screen. My favorite part is as we're running, the jersey shimmer. That gold, boy, that gold looks good in that sun. And for those that are not familiar, there's an American football team, a university called Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Their helmets are gold leaf, and their whole shtick for the last 45, 50 years has been just having these bright, shiny gold helmets. It reminded me of Notre Dame. I thought it was completely classy. Just the quality of the jerseys just look great on screen. So kudos. I love that. Second one, I had to turn off the volume of the game at the 41st minute. I actually made it that far before the chant "We are Thailand," I believe is what the crowd was saying over and over again with the beating of the drums. I mean, kudos to them for consistency, but that was kind of brutal. I don't know if anyone else experienced that. Blue, George, you guys, did you pick up on that? Oh, wow. Yeah, that was definitely unique for me. Just the drumming section over and over again, that chant. Which got me to thinking, kind of was an advantage in some ways having the crowd involved in it. There's something in America where a couple professional teams have actually gotten penalized and had massive fines for pumping in fake crowd noise. So Mark, I know you're listening. This is for you. Why not a little bit of fake crowd noise? We can always, make it seem a little more excitement, jazz it up. I don't think it's illegal. This is something a competitive advantage. I'm thinking they're doing a free kick or a PK. Let's get that music cranking loud as hell, be annoying. Probably not a rule against it, right? So cranking crowd noise, fake crowd noise. Really interested to see how we could use that to our advantage. I'm gonna keep it rolling here. Film in the 25th minute.
I'm gonna stop you. I'm gonna stop your roll. I'm gonna stop your roll right there.
You don't like the fake crowd noise,
Do you
Blue?
do you really think they can be trusted to do it without it becoming off corny? It'll be like a 70s game show.
Is that a bad thing though?
Yay!
I mean, that's kind of cool, right? Keeps attention, kind of cheesy, helps the players feel good. I don't know.
No.
What's Ju's favorite song?
We're-
Can we
we're
just play that in the
traditionalists.
35th minute?
We're traditionalists here in the UK. We like our crowd noise authentic.
Okay.
But
Well, I'm looking for
I-
competitive
I
advantages.
do think that there is sadly a lot of Americanisms coming into the world of football now. Sadly, you go to Ipswich
Sadly,
games, and
very sadly.
five years ago, we have flames going off at the start. We've got like the announcer starting up the song, and it's sort of like
It's a
getting
tragedy.
more and more Americanized.
Well,
These Americanisms, it's a tragedy.
you know what comes next? Ticket prices are going to double. They're going to push out all the common fans.
Yeah.
And you know what? We're going off a tire here. My Villa, that's exactly what they're doing, and it's exactly what they should be doing. Because the way that financial fair play structure is set up, if you don't meet the revenue, you can't keep the players. You don't keep the players, then you don't finish in the standings and generate that revenue. So sorry, Villa fans. You're lucky to have ownership with foresight. Sorry you're being milked for every nickel and dime, but that's what happens when you're a middling club and you want to compete at the top. Sorry. I'm happy they're doing it. I know you guys don't like it. Adapt or die.
You'll be wearing narrowboat helmets soon, going, yeah, support our team. We've got narrowboats in our area.
I don't understand that joke. Okay, let's keep it going before they just jump. All right,
Because
film.
you guys do cheeseheads.
I hear you saying. Yeah, that's a particular team. That's the Green Bay Packers, which is the only franchise actually owned by the people. It's kind of cool. They have shareholders versus all the rich owners. So we kind of like Green Bay for that reason. But
See, so you let Americans take hold of the team, and that's what happens. You see, the evidence is there. Just
okay, well,
follow
stop
the
selling
evidence.
your clubs to American owners. Liverpool started doing it with LeBron James and the Boston Group. You like the American money, you're gonna have to deal with the American right. Just wait until we start actually. There's throw-ins again. We start doing. Yeah, you're just mixing the pot. All right, keep it going. Film. 25th minute. He goes down with a cramp. Second game in a row. Third game in a row. Film. It's the 25th minute, which got me asking: is he still driving the pedal bikes? Is he like working all night and then going to the games, and that's why he's dehydrated and getting cramps? Because he also did it again. I think I have it here in the 85th minute. He also went down.
Yeah, he did. He did. Do you think it was cramp or do you think it was injury? Because I thought it was maybe like a little bit of strain or something.
It looked like an Emmy Martinez injury. I was gonna say, didn't look real, and he keeps doing it.
I'd
so,
like to see it again, but I don't know. I seem to remember now. My memory might be faulting, but I thought he kicked it out and then he sat down. Like didn't kick it out because he's injured. He kicked it or something like that, and then that exacerbated an injury. But I might be wrong now.
yeah, I'm not too sure. That's been a great
Either
question
way,
for
either way,
Mark.
mate, either way, we'd like to know, wouldn't we, whether it's dehydration or whether it's injury.
Yeah, exactly. Another one. I'm gonna pull up the graphic here. I should have had it queued up. Pardon me. But Jew was next
That's
to the
all right.
number 10 in the 37th minute. The two number 10s. Jew had a foul on him, and the height disparity is hilarious. I've got a screenshot. I'll share it later. We'll move on past that one, but very funny. Jew showed a lot of heart. I really enjoyed watching him play out of the back. Okay, boys, that's all I got for this week. Who would like to go next? George?
Yeah,
My quick hitter is just the stream this week. I was not a fan. I have been having so much trouble trying to watch it and keep watching it because it just goes blurry and then it works, doesn't work. So yeah, the
talking about the
stream
Facebook player,
it
right?
makes
Yep.
yeah, it makes me appreciate what we do when sort of we have the home game or we're streaming it um our side because yeah, the Facebook was an absolute nightmare for myself and just yeah, I've not been able to watch the full game all the way through yet. So I've sort of been watching it in pieces and then the highlights through the Facebook have been good. I watched that sort of thing. And then yeah, wearing the headband in honor to the big man.
All right. We used to be on 11 Sports, I believe. Blue Cloud, a little bit of history for us. The transition to YouTube has been great for us personally. Blue, what did you think about the
Mate,
Facebook experience versus kind of what we're used to?
uh, it wasn't too bad on the day, but trying to watch it back has been very difficult. You can't watch it at 1080 at all. And I've got fiber here, so it's not like it's anything to do with that. Sometimes it just drops down to 360, sometimes it doesn't want to play at all. So we've not been able to make our own highlights, but thankfully, as you'll see later, they were provided to us by a UTR, although they don't know it yet.
Yeah.
And yeah, I know George has been pulling his hair out all week. So why he's got the band on as well to help keep it in.
Yeah.
Laughs, laughs. All right, Blue, what do you got this week for your quick hitters before we jump into
Oh
game
mate,
highlights?
it's you just doing game highlights? Or you doing blue balls?
We'll do that last. So we'll do your segment towards the end. If
Okay.
you got any thing from the
Yeah,
Discord
cool,
or
cool.
anything that kind of piqued your interest this week, just to bring fans up to speed before we hop in the highlights.
Um, well, for instance, that the away team thought we were playing a 4-1-4-1 with wing backs. So they thought that we were playing, if you look at their graphic, they thought we were playing two centre backs, two wing backs, and they put it up as a 4-1-4-1. So that's what they've looked at and seen and guessed that we're playing.
Yeah, we got the graphic
So
up for
that's
the
not,
folks at home. Uh, right, they've got Pooh out wide and then Beam here, number 8 out wide. Uh, yeah, do you think this is actually more that we play, or is this poor scouting? They should be in the manager's office, right, if they want the scoop.
I think
I don't,
it's a
to be
difficult
fair,
one to say.
how he played, to be fair. What was the votes this week? We're going to touch on the votes this week of what we voted for.
Yeah, we'll go
So I
ahead.
think
I'll pull up the votes as
such a
well.
long time ago.
Yeah. While I'm going ahead and pull up the votes, I'll go ahead and start playing the highlights, and we'll pause at the first one. If you guys don't mind, talk us through
ปู
what
เท
you
ล่า
see.
ยูไนเต็ด
Yeah.
ครับกองหน้าครับเป็นเบอร์7ครับ
So we
Yeah, I
got the
mean, obviously, the main vote was one of the main votes, and one of the things that affected the team this week is Ian Bill's out of a broken nose.
Yeah.
So we weren't able to play him at all, and he hopefully will be back after the break, which is what 3 weeks' time, I think it is, 2.5 weeks' time. So yeah, that was one of the votes where he would play, how he would play. So that one was taken off the table, unfortunately.
Yeah, and I think that's definitely worth calling out, Blue. Right, losing him, he was our arguably player of the year last year. He's definitely top 2. So missing him would have been interesting. So before we start this, right, that is important team news. Missing number 30, Ian Beale, out of our lineup. That was one of the things we voted on. Additionally, let me go ahead and pull up the actual votes. You guys can see on screen here, we've got the Discord. For those that are not familiar with how the votes go down, this is Mark. He goes ahead and puts up the actual votes. Right, this is what Blue was just talking about. Vote 1, how to set midfield, but because Ian Beale was not available, that was not a normal vote. So vote 2 and vote 3 came down to Rams impact, right, and then who plays at right back. Did you think these were good votes to go put up for a vote, Blue? Were these the right ones?
Yeah, because they do have a lot. They do make a lot of difference. It's each player, some from cut inside, some from go wide. So yeah, I mean, I actually forgot to vote this week, or should I say, I went to vote too late. I missed a vote, so I can't really talk too much. Usually, I mean, this is
We
the
all
first
did.
one I've missed in
We all did. If you look at the
forever.
votes, yeah, pathetic performance by us, boys. We're not going to do that again. Sorry, although to everyone, because we love the voting aspect of it. That was just a mistake. So yeah,
Yeah,
really
it was.
close. 4 votes to 3 with Boz getting that one. Um, And then on
Which
attack
I
right here.
think is right if you look at how he's playing. Like Baz playing really well. So, he's a young player. We brought him up a couple of times over the last few weeks about some of his good things and some of his bad things, but he looks like a real talent.
Yep. And option 1, right, we had shown that graphic earlier with Beam out left, Pooh to the right, and Ninja up top. And so that was the vote, how it went. All right. So those were the votes last week. We're going to get more engagement this week coming up for sure. Actually, not this week. We'll talk about the schedule. There is a bit of a hiatus due to some holidays. But let's roll the highlights here and talk us through it, guys.
This was my first big frustration. Was they cut it, but the bit I did get the first 2 minutes, like the bit they cut before that is the movement off the ball from defenders was so slow to start with. I think we always just have that. We just struggle in the first, like early stages. Like, they pressed us quite well, and we just couldn't get out. And that's where we need like more midfield options to react quicker, just to help us play through the thirds.
So right here, the guy getting
Yeah,
doubled, not much options, right? What do you mean?
we do seem
And
to
then the
sort
next
of
phase,
almost lose people in midfield.
yeah, Chu tries a diagonal ball across from left back to right wing, gets intercepted, and then it's just it was a poor start.
So slow starts, is that something that you can fix easily?
Yeah, 100%. It should be, yeah. That all comes from intensity in the warm up, and that all comes from the team talk beforehand. Is like that. How you start is like the warm up should be like intense, ready to go. In the team talk beforehand, it should be sort of them understanding
We're
the
so
system we're going
slow
to
to
play,
come
how we're going to
out,
play, that sort of thing.
not
And
just today, but in general.
Oh yeah.
So speaking of
We'll
slow
get
starts,
to it, but
guys,
second half.
you're using this as an example of slow start, but this is the actual highlights of us giving up the goal here. This plays into your, and it's going to get to, this really talks to your slow start. Blue, you mentioned in the Discord about the defender going to the ground and now that's a bad thing. Here's an example of him doing it right there. Can you give some more color to that?
Well, that's going to be Blues balls. But we
perfect.
can do Blues balls now. No, we can do Blues balls now.
Let's do
because,
it.
to be honest, you'll see it as it goes on. Because, to be honest, there's been multiple points throughout the game where we put ourselves in bad situations. In fact, throughout the season, where we put ourselves in bad situations by diving in. Thai players love it. It's like enjoyment to them and sliding in and tackling players. We love it too. But the problem is the referees don't. And in this game in particular, the penalty here is given away because the player goes to dive in and block, but he actually does it upside down. So his butt's up in the air. If you're going to slide in, your butt should be down. Well, anyway, that means that his hands are on the floor. Because his hands are on the floor, when the ball gets kicked, he's blocking it and it's handball. It's a penalty. If you can dive in so far that the ball hits your hands, you probably had time to put a foot in and not go down at all. I don't know if it's in the highlights or not, but at the end, Ju also gives away a free kick, gets a yellow card, and it's all from diving in. I don't actually think it was a free kick at all at the end of the game. This is definitely a penalty. But every time you dive in, you're out of position. You give yourself away. You basically may as well be off the pitch for 30 seconds. So for me, it's something the team does all the time, and we need to cut it out. It doesn't mean you cannot slide tackle. It doesn't mean you shouldn't. It just means that unless it's the best option, it's your last option. In my opinion, anyway. George is the coach that we have to give you a bit more colour on that, I think.
George, what are your thoughts?
The one thing for me is that going to ground is last resort. Like if you've got to go to ground, that means everything else before has failed. And I think we don't do enough defensively to justify going to ground as much as we do. Because it's that thing of defending 101 for me is just stay goal side and just stand between player with the ball and the goal. So you back to goal, ball in front of you, and just stand. You haven't got to tackle, you haven't got to do anything. Just get there and then let them make a move. Whereas I think we always become unstuck of we feel like we have to go and win the ball. Whereas actually
Yeah.
sometimes it's better if you just stand, ball and player in front of you, back to goal, and just get there and stand. And then once cover arrives, then we'll be fine. But we love going to ground. I think that's something that needs to be coached out of the team to like defensively. It is a lot better just to get there, get square, stand up, don't dive in, and just be there,
I mean,
sort of thing.
it's something that used to happen somewhat. Like Pang always did it at left back, but it's something which seems to be so much more prevalent in our game at the moment than it has been over the past few seasons. And going back sort of maybe 3 years to when we had John and I think it was Fafana we had a defensive midfield at the time. Was it Fafana? Might be getting
Yeah,
name mixed up.
Fofana. He was a defense
They were
DM,
just
right? And then he went up to
Yeah, they were just
tier?
absolutely solid. Yeah, he went to
Yeah.
a T3 team, I think, or T2 team.
Yeah, he was great. He's part of the OG team. I love
Well,
it. Thank you for the history, Blue. I love that.
yeah,
That's a good name. Yeah.
but they weren't diving in all the time. They were just really positionally solid, and that's the thing. These guys, they are young, but they're coming rushing out all the time, trying to get the ball. They're running out of position. They're also leaving their teammates exposed. I don't know if maybe that's a way to get through to them to say, look, every time you do that, you're leaving your teammate exposed because they are meant to be all about team in
Yeah.
Thailand. It's meant to be more about the team than the individual,
But
more so than it
if
is in
you
Western football.
if you go statistically in what 3 games, we've given away 2 penalties because of diving in. Like teams wouldn't do that for a whole season. We've done it in the first sort of 3 games, giving away 2 penalties just from diving into tackles.
Well, I think it's given away all these corners as well. So the first game we gave away like about 10 corners or maybe let's say 6 corners. I still think over the course of these games we've given away up to maybe 20 corners, which is absolutely insane and is going to lead to goals. Well, this is because they're constantly sliding in and kicking the ball out. Like you can't really control where the ball goes if you're sliding in. Yeah, it's great to get in and tackle, and we want the ball out into touch anywhere rather than in a dangerous position. I think once again, if you're sliding in, if you coming in and tackling a player on your feet, you've got the opportunity to kick the ball in a direction, and it might deflect and go off elsewhere. You can potentially kick it that way or kick it that way. If you're sliding in, wherever it hits is wherever it goes, and that's about as much as you're going to get in terms of direction on it. So
Yeah.
for me, I think it's detrimental to the team in so many different ways.
Well, Blue, thank you for the inaugural Blue Balls segment. From here, we're gonna
You're welcome.
keep it going, and let's talk about the
Yeah.
impact of the fact they went to ground. Here's the goal, right? Because he went to ground, we had a gripe. It's in the back of the net.
The if we're nitpicking, could you save that?
I don't think he did great on his extension,
He didn't take a
and
side.
he has been good on penalties in the past.
I think the angle's hard, but it seems very close. Seems very close to him.
I think, like you say, it might actually be much closer to the post than we think. But once again, his body shape isn't great. But that, it's a penalty. The chances of it getting saved is minimal.
Yeah, but that's a good question. I
Like,
mean,
it looks-
Blue, in your heart, yes or no? Should that have been saved? Look at it. Look at the standstill. I'm saying yes. It was a very poor kick.
Should have been saved.
George, you say
It should have
yes.
been
Blue.
I think
Yeah,
I think you
100%.
go to any like the Nottingham Forest Newcastle game the weekend for the FA Cup. There was a couple there that should have been saved. When it comes to penalties, all bets are off,
So you're saying no.
and it's
Officially?
always weighted in
Officially.
favour of the taker.
All right. All right. I'm not letting you off the hook, though. Should have been saved? Yes or no, Blue? Come on. You can't be all this wishy-washy. Is this
No.
like a British thing?
No, this is a you cannot just penalties is different.
Okay.
If this was him making a save in the game, I'd be like, yeah, he probably should have saved it, or at least he should be diving better. Because it's penalties, it becomes different.
Okay, fair enough. I'm going to let you not have an answer. Let us know in the comments, guys, what you believe, whether or not he should have saved it. Regardless, we still back film, right? He's still our number one keeper. Big fan of him. So let's keep rolling here, the highlights. We get to see them celebrate, but not for too long.
But they did have a decent crowd there
Yeah,
to celebrate in front of.
the chanting of "We Are Thailand" over and over again.
I didn't even notice it. I just blocked it out. I think it must be maybe just used to chanting
Oh.
and that from football games. I don't know. Oh, lets it go, Ninja there.
Yep, that was
Aeon
nice.
with a shot.
Let's run it back one more time. So it's Beam who got the start from the vote. Coach, what are you seeing here?
Yeah, Beam, like for me, Beam has been a very good, sort of underappreciated player. And obviously my love for Ninja is very strong. This sort of that is a very a clever move with clearly good communication from behind him, from Aeon just to let him run it, and then it's like. So I think that's the thing. Attacking wise, I think, like I said, like in the first part of the season, like we have very good attacking players. I think we need to weight our team that way. Um, Get into that later.
Okay,
I
well
mean,
said.
they must think they're really cocky, by the way, if they think we're playing two centre backs and two wing backs. Like they must think like we don't rate the league at all if we're prepared to do that.
I like how they put this highlight in there. So for folks at home, these are highlights from our competitors. Iwatola. I said that name wrong. Excuse me.
Ayutthaya.
Yes.
Ayutthaya.
Um,
Ayutthaya.
Here we'll pull back, see the shot, folks can see it at home. Uh, Blue. Was this a penalty on Jew? Right
From
there, I'll
Jew.
pause it.
No, it's outside the box from the start.
Not penalty, sorry. Was it a foul?
No, it's soft. It's soft. I mean, look at the size difference. That's really soft.
George, you agree?
The one thing that so for me it's foul, but it's not given because of how far away the ball is. If the ball was closer to him, it would be given. But I think because he was losing control, it's not given. And I think again, it's just silly. He's the wrong side of him. He's trying to he's trying to dive in again, and it's like that can cost us. I think just because if the striker had more control of the ball, it's definitely a foul. But I think because the ball is running away from him, it's not a foul. That makes sense. So it's sort of we've got away with it because of the heavy touch, but it's just
Is he on the wrong side
shoulder
of
to
him?
back. Yeah,
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 okay. I see what
100%.
you mean there. I see.
He needs to be further in front,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
behind him.
I mean, I took you as being the opposite way around.
I think yeah, it's a big defensive let off again.
Yeah, with the nice tackle. I like this. They're just showing
I
how
think it was
aggressive we are on our fouls. Look at it. Look at this
Mate,
back and forth on both sides.
they were very
one of the
aggressive.
first games that we sort of seemed they matched us sort of footballing wise, and we didn't. Like from what I saw, we didn't have much of an answer. They sort of
I actually
had
thought
a
we
good
were on
press
top.
intensity.
I mean, I thought we were on top most of the game, especially the first half. I like massively when it came to the end of the first half. I thought we were on top, but the problem was when it came to the second half, they matched our intensity, and then we couldn't play the way that we'd wanted to or whatever. They just didn't come out. I mean, we spoke about before the earthquake and that, so there's a lot of like, who knows if these guys even slept the night before. Fearing tremor after tremors and building collapses and all this kind of stuff. So I give a lot of leeway to the team, but there was a bit of a lack of intensity in the second half for sure. And
And
I don't think they were
that's been a
better than us. I
reoccurring
just don't.
feature for the last two games. Like we've always come out of the block slow second half. We've
Yeah,
started slow right at the first half, and it's sort of It's the same
It's
thing
something
again.
got to fix, I think, coming out second
Yeah.
half. Because we went in like massively on top. We scored the second goal just before half time.
So, Blue, to your point here, we're going to roll the tape here. You're saying that we were on the front foot and that we were better than the first half. Here's an example of, I mean, I'm going to pause it right there. There's our guy right in front of the goal, the goalkeeper, all the way to the side. How do we not score this? Look at the face of our
I know,
player.
right?
Look at his face as soon as he goes by. He's like, oh! Look at him. That's funny.
Yeah,
Disappointing.
he should have done better with that. But this reminds me of, what was it? Pele's missed last game.
You know what wasn't a miss? Our Wonder Boy. Let's all just take a second and just admire this beauty. When this happened live, oof, that was so sweet.
Great goal.
Yeah.
Great
Well,
goal.
last game he went outside and shot. This game he cut inside and hit his left foot and shot. So he can shoot with either foot. He can pretty much shoot from anywhere.
I mean, that is classy. And Blue, let's give
It's
ourselves
crazy good.
let's give ourselves a little round of applause because we both picked him to score a goal, which will come up later in our season
Finally.
standings. Look, he's
Finally,
even
eh?
saying, which one of you guys on the podcast did not choose me? It's a shout out to you, George. Look at Pooh. Before we go
Take
on,
that. I'll
anything
take that.
you guys would like to add on this? I know Blue, you just said this is what Pooh does. He's shown over time and time again. He's been with the club since the start, right? George, what was your thought? Anything you put a bow on this before we move on to the highlights?
I've been really impressed with Fu. The first 3 games. I think it'll be hard to keep him if we don't go up. Obviously, don't know his personal situation, that sort of thing. But I think he's a player that should be playing higher. And again, I think he's one that we need to be. The system should be suiting him. Like I think he is a big game player, and we need to get him sort of on the ball as much as we can because when he has the ball, things happen.
Yeah.
I giggled when you were talking then, but it's only because him turning their defender inside outside, and the body position of their defender was terrible. So Fu, I think, has already had opportunities and turned them down because he loves Futera. Like it's
that's massive.
PSW's the academy he came through and all that kind of stuff. But I still think that much like as an Aston Villa fan, you'll understand this plant's like Jack Grealish situation. You get to a point where they're going to want to try the next level up. You can't hold them back. So I agree. I think it's incredibly important that we get promoted this season to keep the likes of him, Ninja, Bill, and others.
Should we pause for a second and do a Jackie Grealish chant? Oh, Jackie Grealish, you are the love of my life. Oh, Jackie Grealish, I let you shag my wife.
He
Oh, Jackie
scored 3 times, didn't
Grealish,
he?
oh, I do love you. Oh, Jackie Grealish. All right, Coach. What are you saying?
This
Sorry.
clip here, like perfectly paused. Like again, we'll get onto it later with the formation, but it's sort of like what can he do there? Like he's got 4 blue players boxed in. Like there's no support, there's no one higher than him, and it's just like you're asking him to do wonders, sort of thing.
And that's the central
Like
midfield as well, Aeon.
he's brought the foul out of nowhere there. You're literally asking our players to do pull rabbit out of hats at times.
Aeon.
Like he's our 8, and it's sort
Watch
of
their player kick
we need
against him
players
afterwards as
around.
well. Well, I think once again, if we go back to what they think our formation is, they've basically done a 3-5-2 without a 3. They've just kind of messed it up. If you actually look at it, they've basically done a 3-5-2. They just haven't got 3 central defenders there because that's not what we're playing. We're already halfway there. If maybe we're in our own delusion. Do you know what I mean? Thinking we're still playing a 4-3-3 or we're not.
George, would this be a good time to do the coaches segment and break down a little bit of the formation? Or you want to save that for later?
It's up to you. I'm easy. We can do it later. I'll go into depth later. It's fine.
Okay. All right, let's keep running here on Jew taking a free kick. Look at that shine on those jerseys. Come on, tell me that's not sweet.
They do look good. They do look good. We picked right with the goal, didn't we?
Oh yeah.
It's Aeon getting a chance.
I thought that was well done by Jew. Shocking, knowing his history, he didn't shoot from there, right, Blue?
Yeah,
He
I was gonna
loves
say,
a shot
yeah,
from
I was
about
gonna say,
40
thank
yards
you.
out. Clever on the pass. You guys think this is something from the training grounds, or is this them thinking of on the fly?
On the fly.
Mark, let us
Yeah,
know.
on the fire. So that's just a guy taking an opportunity to stand on the outside.
There's that man again. Cutting it back. There's Pooh. All right, now we're on defense.
He's so dangerous. Yeah, blind on him a bit there.
They're giant of number 10.
We did all right. We did all right. I can't really fault that too much.
It was nice to
We lose
see.
a lot of ball back.
Have you guys found this to be a theme that there's not as much heading? Is that because of the style of play? Is that the level of play? I'm not familiar with like how often heading is used in games that's not Premier League. Is this a different style? Because like I won a header there and it seemed kind of weird. There's not many of them. It's happening.
It's a difficult question to answer. It's player dependent, really, and often it's talked about in terms of bravery. So you'd say, oh, yeah, brave player, he's prepared to put his head in there where others aren't because they know they're going to get kicked in the head or punched in the head or something. They might just be really terrible at heading and just every chance they get, try and hit it with their preferred foot. So it can be a multitude of reasons.
All right. Keep it running.
That's a difficult one to answer. That one to say it's really sort of like individual.
Pooh getting the free
For
kick
me
again.
again, there, I don't know why film's so quick again. We spoke about it last week. We have time. Keeper's got it. Like, just hold it. Like, you haven't got to rush. Like, you've got four back, and it's sort of that thing of like, just get us set. Just hold the ball. Like, we haven't got to go out. Like, we
Do
talk
like the
about the
idea
heat.
of a
We talk
quick
about
counter.
that sort of thing. I think it's all done in. You've got to pick the right moments, and I think we sometimes will rush it out rather than just like like if you're countering you've got to do it and be overpowering them. You've got to make sure you have the overload. Whereas I think we don't do that sometimes. Like look here again, like you've got four blues around him. He's won the free kick, but it's sort of if we got set and relaxed and then played out, that would be better for us. 'Cause I think you've got like we talk about it all the time, the heat, the players' fitness. Like the keeper's got it. It's 1-1. Like buy us a bit of time, buy us a breather.
Was it? They say less speed, more haste.
Again, another header
Hit post.
from them. Sanuk Project, number 27, should be getting ahead on some of these balls, protecting it, or is this because Jew is so tiny back there at center D?
Uh, it depends on whether that was a corner or just a normal cross. The highlight wasn't super clear,
Yeah, we'll run it one more
but
time.
the problem is where he's the captain, he's hardly gonna start marshalling him around.
Oh, he was trying to his back post or front post. Yeah, lucky boys.
So
I
in
think
that
yeah,
beam,
I
isn't
think
it? Number
we
8.
should have had players around the 2-3 headers. We should have had a player definitely tighter to them.
Let's say I think that's beam number 8.
Yep.
Who's left winger.
We do win a lot of fouls. I'd be intrigued to know how many fouls we win per game. I think we must be up there with like our foul count.
George, I think that's something though that we've got information from the club that we may be getting that information going forward. Connor could be using the Kicks app, so we get some of this information, so we can actually break down these games
Amazing.
with quantitative analysis versus subjective. So I think that's something we're working on. I hope that that actually does come to fruition. Again, thank you, Kipsats, for the sponsorship of the show, but also like actually we could use that for better analysis. Yeah. All right, let's keep running the
We
highlights
need
here.
it.
Aeon with a nice
Aeon.
strike.
He's a
Another
good
nice.
player, good find.
He is. Another good pass right there from him.
Yep, to Fu on the outside.
Yep.
Another shot away.
Good save from the keep. Blue, this is just talking to your comment
I won't
earlier
talk
about how
over it.
we played so strong against them.
I
I mean,
won't
this is
talk
like a
over it.
highlight tape of us.
Ooh,
Ooh.
filthy. Filthy.
Oh,
So
what a
there's not
player.
many little there's not many like little touches and tricks and all that this game from Ninja. You can't complain when he does this. I mean, from this angle, it looks like it goes outside the post and back in.
What a player. What a player.
Look at the keeper.
Oh,
That
The
ball.
oh,
keeper does the keeper dives well for it. Like
That ball
not
had
many keepers
so
in the
much
world expecting that.
spin on it. It came out of the net. Watch this thing after it scores. Boom.
It's not even like the ball's not got much pace on it.
oh.
It's just got like incredible amounts of curl on it.
And that just shows his different. He's different gravy, isn't he? He is. Oh,
Hey,
Different gravy, sir.
that shot plays at any level, like in Thai football. Like that's not
Yeah.
like that. That's class, right?
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
not,
yeah.
but there's not many keepers that say that though. Like you can see the way that he's curled it outside the post and back in, like how close it is to the post. It's one of them shots that you sort of hold your hands up and go, "Fuck, yeah, you're never getting there."
Well, let's give him a round of applause because George, we'll get to the standings, but that was your pick. So this week, all three of the boys were all smart. We all picked goal scorers, and they were the only goal scorers. Yeah, 2 worldies for our goals. Let me ask Blue this question first. Concerning that our only goals took that level of quality?
Just be happy when you get goals, and Real Madrid rely on individual brilliance for their goals. So why shouldn't we? Especially when we're playing white and gold.
Same question to you, George. Concerning 2 worldies. That's my only score.
Yeah,
So
I think it's. I think we spoke about it in a previous game as well. When you rely on individual brilliance, that's when it sort of. You look at last game, you had that goal where it was kept it at the back, played it to the left, went down the line, cut it across, tap in, like really good build-up goal. And I felt obviously this thing, like I didn't watch the whole game. Like, I haven't watched it all the way through. Hold my hands up. But I didn't. I don't think in the highlights and what we've spoken about, there was much of that. And it sort of took 2 unreal players to dig us out. And I think when we cost ourselves goals so cheaply, to then have to do 2 worldies to have a draw is frustrating. And it's not the fact of it's two worldies saved us the game. It's lax defending has cost us the game.
that's
So I think
that's the more frustrating thing, isn't it?
yeah, you take away the penalty, you see a second goal soon. I think that's where it's like we've had Fu and Ninja score potential goal of the season goals in the same game, and then due to a silly 90 seconds into the game handball penalty, film should have saved it, and then the second one we'll see soon. That's where the frustration lies for me.
Okay, fair
Now,
enough.
to be fair to the team, there is Aeon is getting a lot of shots in there as well. He scored last game, so it's not like we're relying strictly on those 2 players. We can look at Premier League teams and say, well, they don't have 3 players that are regularly hitting the target with shots. So
Yeah,
we're not doing horribly. It's just that's why I think it makes us sound more bitter when you have these goals conceded like this, and you just think, no, like it then would be like talking about how this was a great game. We scored these wonderful goals and everything. So one kind of detracts from the other in some respect.
Talking about
It's
defending,
just
we've got the goal that they scored on screen.
yeah, it's cheap. Like
yeah,
it's just
like that ball shouldn't get
we're
to that
so
guy.
we're so static as well. Like, you look, no one's really anticipating the next movement. And that's where it's sort of you should always be thinking one step ahead. So if this shot comes across the box, am I in the right place? We've got two players gone to block it, which I don't mind, but it's that players around. Like if you go back and pause it, in that moment you had the goalie, you, I don't know who else was in the two that blocked it. You had four players all in the same line. Like as soon as film comes across, he's got to be screaming at Jew, just move. Like I'm here now. Like I'm coming
Yeah,
front post. Because if Jew is there, film's gonna come all the way across. Like you put him on the front post for that reason, and then the balls come across where that's where film should collect it. So you've got what Ninja. That's no, who's 26? Speakers, no. No 26s.
So
No
basically,
26s.
what you're
I think it's
saying
just
is that we had too many people defending the same horizontal piece of
area.
land,
Yeah,
basically.
yeah.
Yeah. Tough.
And it's that just that anticipation again. Like the two for me, two cheap goals when we scored two unreal goals.
Man, I just have so much hate in my heart when I see the other team celebrate anything. It's so funny. Like, this guy's so happy. I just want him to be miserable.
it's
All right.
because it's against us. They're so
Yeah.
happy though. That's
So-
one of the things that makes me proud about it.
Well, let's get it. So right now,
20
in these highlights,
goal
boys,
goal
right now,
is
as we're talk-
26.
say again, Blue? 26 to 2?
Goal.
Oh, yeah, our killer striker from last year. Yeah. All right, so right
Cool
now in the
guy.
game, it's 2-2. We've got about 50 seconds left of highlights. So as you guys are watching this and giving us color, can you kind of give us through the perspective of what we should be thinking in a tie game, scoring two worldies, giving up two cheap goals on the road? Curious about. Oh, look at that.
Who shot there?
Famous Jew shot.
He's not shot, has he? He's not shot, has he?
No, this is
Yes, yeah,
this is
classic
what
Jew.
2021 looked like. He scored a bunch too. Let's watch it again. So good.
He actually wasn't that far away,
No.
That is
but yeah, it's
ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Does that hurt your coaching heart to see something like that?
Yeah, he'd be getting absolute pelters.
Good tough
classic
defender.
Jew. Yeah, he loves it. No, the thing is, the rest of the team should give him a bit of grief for that because
Yeah,
they've run on
100%.
the pitch, end of the game, and then he goes and does that, and they've got to run all the way back down.
Silly tackle.
Yeah, it was a silly tackle.
But yeah, we haven't even got to Jew sliding tackle yet, have we? No, we'll get
Good
there.
ball. Oh, unlucky.
Yeah, that was a good look.
Ball pass back to Baz.
Wow.
You
They're
two,
playing nips
dreadful.
in. Snoop tries to get to it.
The
Gets
project. Good hustle though.
go,
and he's done
go
all
down
right. So
there,
he's
Look at
not
that
been
shine.
horrendous.
Look at that shine. Oof.
That was a great passing.
Good area. Great area.
Let's watch that
Yeah,
one
it
back.
was.
Oh, why?
But that's the sliding tackle that I'm talking about. So we've got this great cross that comes in from Baz.
Great area.
Yeah, I mean Ninja's on the end of that. If the player doesn't get in, that's a goal. That's a great tackle. That's when it's worthwhile sliding because that's the last opportunity. That's not.
So Blue, talk us through this because this was one of your topics for Blue Balls, right? So this is it. It's playing out in real time.
So I don't think this is a foul. I don't even think this is a free kick. I think he gets the ball. I think he's there before, but just because the player happens to be there and he happens to clear him out, etc., etc., the referee calls it and even gives him a yellow card. But to be honest, in some respects, that's the attacking player's fault because he could have moved out of the way. He kind of, he's 6 of one, half dozen of the other, and it's not dangerous play. He clearly gets the ball. but he gives the referee the opportunity. That's the problem. So if he stays on his feet and just boots the ball out, which I think he probably could have done as well, although the highlight's not the best, then they don't even get the opportunity to take a free kick from there. I think last 30 seconds of the game. So it's just you at that point in the match, you don't give away silly free kicks like that.
George, is
So
that your read on it?
It's hard to see from this angle, but I think it doesn't look like a yellow. But again, it doesn't look like he's fully in control.
the
Like
ball's already gone. Like the ball's like 6 feet away from them on the other side.
I said,
That's
it's
how
so
much
hard to see because it looks like it's in the air close to him, but actually it's far away, isn't it? So I think he's already won. The ball's gone away. He's won the ball, but I think because both hands are in the air, it makes me question how he's slid. If you know what I mean? Because normally one hand's on the ground,
Yeah, you
but
kind
both
of
hands are in the air, so it looks like he's jumping into it, which I think that's when it becomes the sort of reckless tackle. But it doesn't look like a yellow. The ball's gone away and he's won the ball first, so it shouldn't be a foul. But I think just he must have jumped with studs in the air. That's why you'd give a yellow. Because I don't know why. It's, like if you click it like one more second, you'll see as he
I
makes
might have been a bit
contact.
harsh on him.
Both
Maybe
like
it wasn't.
both balls, both hands are like up. If you know what I mean,
Oh, he got ball
which
Yeah.
looks
first.
like a jump in motion. I think even if you win the ball in football nowadays, if you go studs up like in a jump, it's normally like asking for trouble.
These tire refs are quite bad for it anyway. Like stuff like that,
Yeah.
they'll call when it's not out of fear.
But you're spot on though. Like, why do it? Like, you can easily just stay on your feet and just kick it out. Why do you need to make a slide? You just put us in trouble.
he
Spot
could
on.
even have just gone shoulder to shoulder with the guy because it's not like he was the last man.
Yeah.
All right. Well, boys, that was fun going through the highlights with you. Clearly, there were opportunities on both sides. I think it was pretty hard fought. You could argue a draw was a little bit harsh on us, given that we gave away some cheap goals. But overall, given all of the distractions on and off the pitch, actually not on so much on the pitch. I guess missing Ian Beale was definitely something that we're gonna miss him. But he'll be back, right? I think we said Blue on the Discord. Mark said 2 or 3 weeks with a broken nose. Can you confirm? Are we still on track there?
So 20th of April is the next game, and we hoping he should be back for that one, but no guarantees.
Okay. Well, as you're talking
And
about
apparently
fixtures,
his
go
nose,
ahead. Sorry, Blue.
apparently it's noticeable that he's broken his nose. It's going to be staying with him for a while.
Okay. Well, we are wishing him the speedy recovery and hope that he can find some comfort. Because that one's a painful one. I hope he gets a cool like Batman mask or something cool to rock. All right, let's check out the standings right now. Even though we're not on the top of the table, this is our graphic. Mark, what are we doing here? At least put us tied for first on this graphic. But point being is 3 goals. Oh, I guess it was goal differential. Pardon me, soccer thing, football things. Points. Tied for points at the top through 3 matches. George, you looking at this? You feeling all right so far? Feeling out the standings? Sounds like to me like you probably think we should have all 9 given the poor defending last game. What are your thoughts as we look at the standings right now?
I think there needs to be sort of real conversations about what our goals are and where we're at. So if you look sort of Bancapi at the bottom, played 3, lost 3, they conceded 7, and we put 2 past them. So we had 2. We did put 3, but they scored 1, so 2 goal difference. And I think we're very nice, let's say, as a community. I feel, and it's sort of we need to be a bit more ruthless. Like we should, in my opinion, the way we play and the players we have, from what I've seen this season so far, we should be walking this league and being favourites every game we go into. I think
Blue, you
that
feel the same?
thing.
I think it's actually a little bit. I do agree, but there's something in the team where we've probably lost a couple of players that had a bit of that fire or something because I don't know. into this pre-season, into this season, maybe it's because we've got a lot of new players. The sort of like drive forward hasn't quite been there. Like we said, we've been slow to come out of sort of second half and first half, and we
Well, no,
used to
sorry.
put like,
When I say nice, I mean the fans. I mean the holders.
yeah, but I'm
If
just
we're
saying we used to have a little bit more killer instinct of what I feel we've got at
yeah,
the moment, and throughout the team kind of thing. But yeah, we are. We don't. We are a community, so
yeah,
we deliberately don't rock
yeah.
the boat. I guess is like one of the weaknesses of our community in a way. I guess.
Well, Blue.
That's not to say that people don't come in and like yourself and sort of say, let's play a different formation. I think this will work, that'll work. Because people do, and I think you've got that ball rolling. It seems to be rolling within the community and within the squad, so in coaches. Hopefully it's just a matter of time. It's just when we're talking about them being perhaps positionally naive at the moment, it does make me worry a little bit, and it's not so much. It's almost just like that normal fear you get of the unknown.
How many go up from our league? Just one.
I believe so.
Yeah,
It gets complicated. We'll leave that one for another time. It gets
Yeah.
complicated.
We want to win the league, right? That's where we want to be
Yeah,
yeah,
at.
we want to win the
100%. That's
top
yeah.
league.
And I believe my
It's
understanding.
top two going into another league, basically.
Okay. And Blue, if we
Build
do
the
win the
top two
league,
going to another league.
there's I believe 2 months off from a scheduling standpoint. What I read from Mark in the Discord. So when we win the league, we'll have 2 months to prepare the team, which is rather short to prepare for that step up. Are you on the same timeline?
Yeah.
2 months isn't that bad. 2 months is roughly off season for Premier League.
Yeah, which is crazy because they play all and then they play with their club team. That's a different story. These football athletes are crazy how much they get run into the ground. All right, but Blue, we're got on screen right here. We got the standings, and you had talked about the weakest link, making sure that we do that. Well, unfortunately, you, my friend, I'm gonna pull up the season standing of our team graphics, and you are so far the weakest link. So just wanted to
That's fine,
give you a
mate.
little flack.
I'm not taking it serious.
We got the results.
Serious. You can give as much flack as you like.
Well, it's not over, right? So to be fair, season's not over. George, you want to talk us through this week's point system and overall standings? What's going on this graphic?
Yeah, I think me and you plan to be smashing, didn't we? With what you got every goal scorer so far in every game. What food scored every game so far? So
Yep.
I'm assuming you're going to stick with him again this week. And then I just had a feeling Ninja would step up, finally get his going. And yeah, I think we're going for the win every time. Was going to come unstuck at some point.
Yeah, no, it's
trying to
all
think,
good fun.
I'm trying to find what
You
we
can't not go for the
said
win.
last time.
What are
We
you
all
going to
had
do?
them
Pick
winning.
up? No.
Yeah, we all had them winning by various points. Unfortunately,
Three,
we
three,
were all
what? 3-0,
wrong.
2-0, 3-1, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's keep going. Before we get to our Coach's Corner segment, what I would like to do is thank our sponsor. We've mentioned the Kicks app a couple times today. Kicks app, we're trying to push it in the Discord for multiple reasons, better decision making for us on the podcast, something more to talk about. George, take us away with a little bit of the value prop of what is the Kicks app and how does that help coaches?
I think if we speak about for Patera this week, about what it can bring to us is we touched on it in the games and previous times, is just that stats element. So we take away the voice recording, take away all that sort of thing. If we just input the hard stats of shots, player shots on target, player shots off target, foul count, assists, goals, we can then start looking at our shot accuracy. So if we start looking at, say, Aon, how many shots he's having, how many shots are on target, how many are off target, we can get them percentages of how he's doing, and we can compare it to other players, compare it to other games. If we go goal involvement, if you're looking through the 3 games, he's scored 3, I think he's got an assist. So his goal involvement there you're looking, he's got 4 out of, I want to say 9 goals. So then we can look at player goal involvement. We're looking at saves. How many saves is Phil making a game? Look at defensive actions. How many defensive actions are the players making in defense? We're then looking at votes. We can put it up and say, if you've got to it, he's had 27 defensive actions in the last 3 games compared to Q that's had 4 defensive actions in the last. So you can then actually use statistics to break down our performance as a group. Then we can look at goals per game, per like shot accuracy, shots on target to goals, how many we're scoring versus our shots. If we take 8 shots a game, we should score 2. And I think that's where Futura United would benefit from using the stats from the Kicks app.
Wonderful. Wonderful. I think that's well said. We're going to keep hoping to get this information to level up our pod and our decision making when it comes to votes. Again, thank you to the Kicks app for sponsoring this week and this season. And also, I've noticed just as we continue to, I've learned about the Kicks app. I notice every time we go to this site, there's some new features, right? So it's kind of cool. I can see that this app is developing, and kudos to the team. Okay, with that, we have 2 segments left. We have Coach's Corner, and then we also have the preview and everyone's favorite predictions for next match. We'll go over and jump into Coach's Corner. Then we'll go ahead and wrap it up. And this time, Blue, you're breaking us down because George took us away last time. So without further ado, this week's Coach's Corner brought to you by the coach, George, and sponsored by the Kicks app. Go ahead, George.
Have we got the latest TikTok from the Kicks app available? Do I start with that or end with that?
You should
Have we got that
end
available?
with that. Yes, it is available, but let's
We'll
end with that.
Okay, so for me, the big takeaway for the last 3 games, I keep banging the same drum talking about it, is getting our forward players into the game. And I think sometimes in Discord or when I'm trying to get the point across, the message gets confused. So I'm not a 3-5-2 coach. That's all I want to play. For me, it's all about you put the players first, look at who you've got
Welcome
available,
to this
and then find the
video
formation.
here at the Kicks
When I
app.
look at our squad and who's available, you've got Ninja, a very good hold-up player, likes little passes, doesn't really go in behind much, can get a good shot off. He is a good striker to have a partner with. You look at Fu, really good technically, loves a shot, can get in behind. So them 2 work well together. So that's our 2 up top. You've got Ake, you've got Mbappe coming back soon. But you've got, I want to say, Bass on the right-hand side. I could be wrong.
Yep.
They are 2 good wing backs who like to get involved up and down. But you've also got Bass, who's more of a defensive-minded player. So there's our balance. You've got Ake can go forward, Bass can hold it. You've then got 3 good centre backs that can play in the centre position. And we then have 3 midfielders that are very good at midfield. The thing that I think we're struggling with is we're trying to play currently in the 4-3-3, 10, an 8, and a 6, which means you're playing as a straight line across the middle. When what we really want is either 2 8s and a 10 or a 6 and 2 8s to get the link up with the midfield. But I don't think the system we have is suiting getting the best out of players. If we're going to stick with the 4-3-3, I don't mind playing 4-3-3. I've played 4-3-3. I don't mind it. I like it. But that means we've then got to potentially take players, our stronger players, out to fit that system. So like I would play probably Eek as a winger, and then through for the middle, and then who's the other striker? Is it Bass, the other striker, other winger? I'm pretty sure.
Beam.
I would then have them as the 3 and drop Ninja. So Ninja for me doesn't suit the 3 up top because he's
Beam.
not quick enough. Is it Beam? Beam, yeah, Beam. I then have Beam, Fu, and Eek as the 3. But then you're losing one of our best players in Ninja. So it's like if we're going to play the 4-3-3, we need to make sure we're picking the players that work in that system and what system we're going to play.
Makes sense. So I'm going to pull up on screen here the TikTok video. You want to talk us through that and let me know when to roll? Or if there's a portion of the video.
Again, what I was trying to say and hoping that if you watch it, it might give a bit more understanding of what I'm trying to get across to the Futera fans as well. is sort of having the middle striker Ninja, good hold up play, alongside Fu, who's great at getting in sort of the half space, half turn, really good player. And then we've got our wingers. So it's sort of I was gonna put this in the main chat, but I was like, I don't want to keep banging the same drum. But it's like I'm not saying 3-5-2 is the best formation in the world. I'm just saying for the players that we have, I feel that that's the system that suits us the best. If we want to play 4-3-3, we then need to actually discuss and be like, who is our players that suit that system? Because I don't want everyone to think like, oh, he just wants to play 3-5-2, that's his formation, because that's not the case. Like I am very much a player's perspective first, then the system, then the formation.
I think as you're showing there in your TikTok, it's how you play it as well. It's not just saying, "Oh, let's play a 3-5-2." It's how you actually implement the system.
Yeah. Because it's like 3-5-2s could be played so many different ways, but it's that sort of I know the difficulty was like, oh, but the wing backs get tired, but it's like no, but like they only get tired if you're asking them to go up and down. Don't ask them to go up and down. That's where the three centre backs just shuffle over, cover one side, wing back tucks in. Then in that brief moment, you're a four. That wing back can say hi and become a three for that 5 minutes. Once you're set,
Yeah.
we tuck in again. The three come across, wing backs get set again.
Well,
And the
George,
whole time you still have two strikers.
I think that it's really important to keep articulating these opinions. It levels up the conversation. It levels up the knowledge for the folks in Discord. So please don't be shy. And thank you again for this week's Coach's Corner from George.
Yeah, don't feel defeated by it. That's the thing. It's not. It's
I
all
just
we're
don't want
doing
to come across
content
negative.
discussion.
That's my thing. It's like it's trying to like get my point across of I've been here. I'm around football 7 days a week. Like this is my literal like job, and it's like I'm trying to get my point across, but I don't want to come across like I'm being like a knob and like saying the same things. That was like I got to the point where I was like, okay, I'll just stop. I've tried to make my point. It's not worked. I'll sit back and then wait, sort of thing.
I'm pretty sure, was it? Let me go back and check. It was either Dark Fall or Keeley backed you up as well. They were saying they thought it was going to work.
Yeah, no, it's definitely, and it's great conversation. But I think what we talked about last podcast is when you're winning, right? Does it make sense to change it up? And there's positive and negatives on both sides. For folks that haven't seen that one, it's going to be right below this show. Go ahead and pull back up. Great conversation about formations, the positive and negatives there. All right, boys. So what I like to do here, we're looking forward. Unfortunately, we're looking
Big
forward
one.
a little bit too far. 420, right? So we got 3 weeks before our next match, which is a little bit unfortunate. Did a little heavy research because that's what this pod is about. Team we're playing is an hour and a half to 2 hour drive north of the city. They were founded in 2021, did not play in 22, and were paid back in 2023. This is the official ChatGDP stance on this team. So that's all we got from context. Blue, 3 weeks.
Also, they're
Yeah,
currently
please.
top, aren't they? No.
They are. They are top. Damn right. No, they're not. No, wait, hold on. Singbury, why? Yeah, they are, right? That is the same team. Is Sarabury the same as Singabury? Yeah, it's got to
Unbelievable.
be.
You're the
No,
man.
that's
You're the
third
man.
place. Third place, Sarabury.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
damn.
If you remember the first
I was
or
excited
second
then.
Me too.
podcast, it threw me.
Okay. Well, we're playing the
So we've
logo,
got
the red
Singbury
logo.
next.
We got to win this one. All right, so 3 weeks, Blue. Is that a good thing or a bad thing, you think, for us? Everyone in the league has the same. I believe there's some religious holidays, or maybe not religious, but there's holidays going on in Thailand that push these games back. Probably good given the earthquake and gives everyone time to heal and get back on their feet. But from a football perspective, Blue, how are you feeling about 3 weeks off right now?
If it wasn't for the earthquake, I'd say it's bad. We're only 3 games into the season, but with the earthquake, who knows? So, yeah, could give them a bit of time to de-stress, find out their family's all safe, and then come back to it. and sort of get serious.
George, as a coach, you got any concerns with these 3 weeks off? A little bit of momentum
No,
after
I'll
3.
be absolutely buzzing. We work on the defending, we work on set pieces, we work on the system, and it's 3 weeks of basically you got pre-season in the season. So it's that thing of like we've had our first 3 games, we can assess where we're at. We've now got 3 weeks to work on things that we need to work on. Mini pre-season. This is like what's it called? Warm weather training now. This is that sort of middle of the season, rip away, work on could be a formation change. You never know.
Good point.
You work on set
Yeah, good point.
pieces, you work on things, and then we come back. I think this is the like beautiful for us. Perfect.
All right. Well,
Yeah,
with
good
that,
way like that.
Blue, would you like to go first on predictions? I know we're all nervous, right? Because this is big. You're at the bottom of the standings. Would you like to go first or last on
Oh,
predictions?
mate, this is trivial compared to real life stuff. This is trivial. But we'll
Fair.
go with 3-1 Fo, just to steal your man.
All right. I'm going 2-1 Foo. George?
I've got Fo up here. So
What, am I allowed to be a nuisance or not?
Absolutely. You can also choose whatever you want.
Because I have one for one formation and one for another formation.
no, no,
You
fuck
want a
that.
contingent?
No, no,
You want a contingent?
no,
Let
no,
him.
none of that
Come on, this will be
noise.
good
None of that
fodder.
noise.
He doesn't get a contingent. All right, you don't get a
He
contingent.
gets
I
a
think-
contingent. He gets a contingent, but he doesn't get any points.
Um, if we go how we play at the moment, I think it's a 1-1 draw. I think Bass will get a goal. And I think if we
Ooh.
change it, we win 3-0. Ninja scores.
Change it. Are you gonna define what that formation is, or is it any formation
Go,
but
we go,
last
we
game?
go, we go 3-5-2.
All
We
right.
win 3-0.
Okay, George. Any last words before we pass it to Blue to close this thing down?
Just get us working on a training ground. That's one thing I think as well. We mentioned it at the start of the season. Is like I, as a coach and someone who's obsessed with it, I want to know what they're working on. So it'd be nice if like a little message of like, oh, these next 3 weeks, here's our training plan. Blue's absolutely correct. We're going to do a bit of 1v1 defending. We're going to work on just getting to the play, our standing up. We're going to work on set pieces. Let us know any set piece ideas you have. Like plants, what's your throwing ideas? Let us know. Like, I think it'd be good for the coaches or even Mark to kind of be like, okay, we've got 3 weeks. This is our training schedule. It's what we're working on.
Well said.
Yeah,
Well said.
agreed.
Blue.
Yeah, it's a great idea. Yeah, just to wrap it up and just sort of everybody out there stay safe. Make sure your buildings are safe. Look after everyone. What else can I say? I've got family over there in Myanmar. Thankfully, they're all right, but you know you can't track and trace everybody, so just got to wait and see how the chips fall on you. But I hope everybody's all right. I hope the team and everybody and all their families are all right.
Yep. Thank you. And with that, we're sending love, closing down the podcast. Goodbye, everybody. Thank you for joining in. And again, throw your comments, concerns, questions. We'll answer them next week. Thanks, everybody. See you.